Hey, so here I am on day 10 of my impromptu fast, which if you look above, you'll see the video that I shared on day 7 as to how this came to be. Now, on day 10, I want to share some of my takeaways, what I did during the 10 days to accomplish what I accomplished. And what did I accomplish? Some inner peace, some growth, some observations of habits and rituals that I have that may not be serving me properly in my daily routines that I'm now determining in advance how to deal with them, what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to drink, proactively. Because I learned this from my friend Anil Gupta when I interviewed him after returning from Necker Island, spending time with Sir Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson leaves the house every day knowing the choices he's going to make when circumstances arise. He made the decision in advance, so he's not in the moment making the decision. So I'm doing what I learned in that interview of making my decision in advance before breaking the fast. How this has been a transformative 10 days for me and how I'm going to proceed moving forward. So let me jump right into it. So you'll see the details of how this came to be on day 7. What did I do? This was not planned. This was not something that I scripted out and or studied and did research prior to doing it. This was totally impromptu in the moment, and I just went with the flow. So it wasn't a strictly only water fast. It wasn't guidelines of I had to do this, I had to do that. I went with the flow, and in essence, over the 10 days, I haven't eaten a thing in the past since 2 Fridays ago, 10 days ago, and that was the Subway sandwich that I had for lunch, a foot-long sub, and that was it. Other than that, zero food the whole time. Most of the fluids I've intaken have been water. I've had, like today, I just had a ton of yerba mate tea. I've had that several times throughout the 10 days. I've had passion tea at Starbucks a couple times. I have had a couple coconut waters here and there, so probably 6 over the entire 10-day stretch. I've ingested 6 coconut waters. You know, the ones that you see at the gas station, 100% pure coconut water, etc., 2 for $5. I've had about 6 of those over the 10-day course. And then at one of the 7-Elevens up the street from my house that I pass regularly on my walk, which I'll get to in a second, they also have this aloe vera type drink. It's mostly water, but it's got some aloe vera in it. I don't know the name of it, but I've had several of those, maybe 3 of those. And then day 5, I had a pressed juice. So this pressed juice, don't even remember what was in it, but you know, they put the celery and the carrots and things like that in, parsley. I had one of those, and then yesterday I had another one, plus 2 shots of wheatgrass, and then on Friday I had a smoothie with strawberries and bananas. So that's it. Other than that, it's been water, coconut water, rarely, and even more rarely the aloe vera stuff, and some teas. That's it. Nothing, no rhyme or reason, just went with the flow as to how I felt it needed to go. And then, what were my routines? Okay, so set the stage. My girlfriend and her kids were gone, so I had the house alone for 8 days. So from Friday when I dropped them off the airport until the following Saturday, 8 days later, I had the entire home to myself. And that's probably key. It would have been much more difficult dealing with the 3 biggest challenges that I feel I faced over these 10 days. 1, habit, just out of habit. I'd catch myself going to the fridge, opening it up, looking, and saying, oh, well, if I wasn't on a fast, I'd be eating right now. So habit, procrastination. I noticed that eating was a tool I used to procrastinate on work tasks or any other task that I really didn't feel like doing, that I knew I needed to do. I'd find myself getting up, going to the fridge, checking it out, and once again, recognizing had I not been on a fast, I would have eaten or gone elsewhere to go have lunch or dinner or whatever to get away from doing that task I really didn't want to do, but I needed to do. And then boredom. Boredom was the biggest one. Boredom. I recognized I would feel the desire to go look around once again for food when I was bored. So to have an outlet to fill that gap that many hours per day fill during the normal life of breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between, there's a lot of time invested in eating. So what if you're not eating during a fast, what are you going to do with that time? So I found myself studying, I found myself reading, I found myself writing, I found myself praying. a lot during those times when I felt bored. And I listened to a ton of audios. Audios kept me busy. And I got a lot of work done, actually. It was a very productive week. And then the other element that is absolutely huge is the social element of eating. And that is something, once again, had everyone not been away from the home, I'm not sure if I'd have had the discipline and willpower to maintain for 10 days. They've been home since Saturday, so Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday, so 2.5 days, 3 days, and it's already been enticing to want to partake in going back and reverting back to the old way. But as I mentioned, I'm taking time right now to solidify and choosing in advance how I'm going to progress moving forward. I literally have zero hunger. After 10 days, I have zero hunger whatsoever. I am going to have to force myself to eat, in essence. Now, obviously, it's a habit, and I enjoy eating, so I will make sure that I eat healthy, life-sustaining foods and liquids, but I have zero desire to eat. And if it weren't for the social pressures, if I had the house to myself for another week, I would probably continue, just out of curiosity of like, how long does it really go before I would actually become truly hungry? So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm in essence raising the white flag to social pressures because a lot of people are concerned I'm going to begin eating probably this evening. So I'm choosing right now during the day what that's going to look like for me, what I'm choosing to not partake in any longer, and what I'm going to choose to eat and ingest, liquids and fluids. So that's, in a nutshell, how my 10 days have progressed. Okay, weight-wise, I looked and I found that I was 178 pounds when I went away for a couple weekends ago to do a training that we did in Key Largo. 178 pounds. I remember that distinctly because 4 years ago, I did mytransformationsecrets.com, where I went from 196 pounds to 168 pounds in 60 days. And there's a report on that at mytransformationsecrets.com. Side note, if you sign up and get that report, I'm creating report number 2, how I went from 178 pounds to 162 pounds in 10 days. And I'm going to share my fasting experience, along with some resources that I've since discovered. Disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm sharing my experience. I don't say this is the end-all, be-all, but I know what worked for me. So do your own research, make your own choices. I'm just sharing my experience. So go to mytransformationsecrets.com, get the report that I shared, how I went from 196 pounds to 168 pounds in 60 days, and you'll be on the list that I will email the new report sharing the step-by-step impromptu fast that I just went through for 10 days. So hopefully this is helpful. This is Tom Beal saying, until we speak again, make today great.